So this, I want to show you how to make a notebook cover. So as you can see, this is what's inside. So I have this nice big notebook, and it's decorated so pretty. So I'm going to show you how you can measure any size notebook that you may have and how to cover it up. And of course, you can design it with any type of element that you want. Of course, I'm going to use the cats. You could use balloons. You could use flowers. You could use a lot of sentiments. You could use just textures. So what I want to show you, of course I love the cats, is how to measure this real quick. And you can do it for any size notebook. You could do it for even the little sticky pads. So it's really easy. So what I did was, let me bring in my plain notebook, and I'm going to take a peek at my computer and see what's going on here. Glad you all can join me. Okay, so I have my notebook, and all I did, of course, very simply, was to measure from the top to the bottom, and it's 8 inches. And I added 1/8 inch because I want it to hang just a little bit longer. It makes it easy to open it up. So I got 8 inches plus 1/8. I measured the top of the spine here, and that's 1/4 inch. And then I came down the back 2.5 inches. So when I added all up, it was 10 7/8 inches. And of course, again, this will be on my blog. So here's the piece of Flirty Flamingo, and it's 10 7/8 inches. And I scored it at 8 1/8 inches right here. And I scored it at 1/4 inch more. So again, these are all on my blog, or they will be after the webcast. And so that's how you do that. But let me score that a little bit better, fold it a little bit better. Okay. So that's the main piece. Then I have a pretty piece of designer series paper, and that's just 1/4 inch smaller. And I have my big square, and I'm using Peekaboo Peach, and that is 4.5 by 4.5. And I have this piece here that I'm going to place my design on, my cats, and that's 4.25 by 4.25. And I think before I go any further, I am going to emboss this white piece with this sequin punch, or sequin folder. So I'm going to bring this in one more time. Run that through the Big Shot. And just by embossing a plain piece of white paper, it just adds such a great wow factor, and it really makes a difference. So we've got our big piece, our designer series paper. Now what we need to do is to punch out our cats. So let's talk about that for a second. Let's see. I've got a Blackberry Bliss cat I already punched out. And I'm going to punch out a Flirty Flamingo cat. And again, on this big orange piece here, since it's not going to show on the Peekaboo Peach, I'm going to punch a cat right out of the middle of that. It's not going to show, and I'm going to use that as my matte piece. And then I have the pretty designer series paper, and I want the cat to be facing that way. So I got to make sure I put it in here correctly. And I want a brown kitty cat. Okay, and a gold one. So if you want your cat to be facing a certain way, you don't have to put it in this way. If I wanted this gold cat facing the other way, I could just turn it over and punch it like that, and then the gold side would be facing the way I want it to be. Okay, so then I'm going to glue this to the notebook. So we bring this piece in, and my Tombow glue, and then I glued this back piece. So these are really cute gifts for your coworkers, of course. I'm going to give mine to my mom because my mom is a cat lover and she writes notes all the time. So I think she'll like this. So I got the Tombow glue so it's forgiving, so I can slide this around where I want it to be. Once I get it there, I want to hold it there. So there we go. Then I'm going to put this piece on and I'm going to glue it on. This is that Love Specialty Designer Series paper that was in the Occasions catalog. It's so pretty. Love it. So make sure we get the edges with a light line of glue. Actually, since I have 2 of these notebooks, I think I will give one to my sister-in-law. She just came out of the hospital. I'm going to go visit her this weekend. She's the one that, whenever I send her cards, she's got a whole box of all my cards. She's a great fan of my card making. She saves all of them, so I think that's sweet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach this one. Let me get this out of the way. So I'm going to put glue on the back piece. Glue that to the mat piece. Then we're going to lay our cats on here. So I started off with the middle cat in the back. Oops, this one. And I glued them all on because then I could move them around a little bit if I had to. So we'll glue this one on first, and I'll just keep assembling them. You can watch. So just want to remind you there are project sheets that are going to be on my blog, so it'll give you all the dimensions in case I forgot to mention certain sizes. And then we're going to lay this one down. And then we're going to lay the pink one down. We're going to flip him over so he's facing this way. So if you want to re-watch this video or this live cast, you can go back after we're done here and you can scroll down until you find it, and you can actually fast forward if you want till you get to the spot that you need to see again, and it'll be there. So if you have crafty friends, share my video with them. I'd appreciate that. The more the merrier. And I'm going to lay this one down right here. You slide him over a little bit. See, with that glue you can play with it for a little while. And we'll bring this one in right there. Isn't that cute? So again, you can, if you're not a cat person, you could do this with dogs. You could use the little Bella suite. You could use that one. You could make it with flowers. Okay, so now we're going to, I stamped this ahead of time, just a note, and I have a piece of Flirty Flamingo that I'm going to use for the back. So let me cut this down. I think what I'm going to do first is banner this, and I'm going to just do it very simply with my snips. One side. And these don't always come out perfect. I don't always get a perfect banner, but it's pretty. It doesn't have to be exactly perfect, so I'm going to cut this a little bit shorter. Okay, let's put these pieces together. Uh-oh, I got glue on here. My little glue dots from my cat banner. Ugly. Ugly, ugly. Cover that up. So I'm going to snail this little just a note sentiment onto the banner. I'm going to glue it actually. Had my glue nice and handy there. And then I'm going to bring in my dimensions and put, this stuck too. Oh, because I had glue on the cat. Haha. That's because I cut the cat out of my orange piece to save a little bit. So there was snail on the back. Haha, fooled me. Since this is such a big piece, I'm putting a few extra dimensions on there to pop it up so it stays nice and even. Oops. Almost done. Put that up near the top. Piece of paper here so it doesn't keep sticking. Then I'm going to bring in this beautiful Peekaboo Peach ribbon. This ribbon is called Crinkled Seam Binding Ribbon. It's very light and I think it's 5/8 of an inch thick, and it's so pretty. So let's see here. I'm going to lift this whole piece up and tie a bow. It's really easy to work with. And again, once you tie your bow, play with it. And I'm sure it'll be beautiful. Bring in some good scissors to good ribbon scissors to cut that on a little angle. And then let me move that up a little bit because I want to put my just a note sentiment on the bottom. And I'm going to put that on dimensions. So we are just about done. So I hope you enjoyed my projects. If you did, please share them, leave me a comment. I like to know that someone's out there with me. And thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. Let's bring in our projects. So we have our Just a Note notebooks, our pretty little lemon lime cards, and our cat banner. So I will be taking this into work tomorrow for the girls. It's actually probably going to be hung on my desk, so I'm probably going to have to make a few more, don't you think? Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. Visit my blog, www.stampinshout.com. That's where you can shop. That's where the project sheets will be. And I hope to see you next week. In the meantime, have a beautiful week. Bye-bye.